Hello everyone. So this video is a bit of a shit one on my own transit van. It's a 2.2 Mark 8 16 plate. Some people may have seen this fault before, but I couldn't find any real reference to this online. Maybe I wasn't looking in the right position. I had quite a few specialists and people trying to work out and help me work through this fault, because for about 4 days I'll say this fault was kicking my fucking ass. No warnings, no fault codes. I've actually managed to replicate the fault now, just for this is it. There's no fault codes no matter what you do. The engine is running, and if I go back, just show no fault codes no matter what you do. But when you try and rev up, foot flat to floor, it will bounce around, and there was no boost. Now, actually occurred after basically turbo shit itself, absolutely collapsed and blew. So you'd imagine that was the fault. Replaced the turbo, and such unlucky unfortunately. Replaced the turbo, drive down the road, fucking alternator light comes on. Check the alternator voltage, that's soon. So we assumed at that point, right, maybe lack of voltage to the turbo actuator. Replaced the alternator, just second-hand one, just to get me on the road quickly, because at this point I was ready to bloody cry. Replaced the alternator, still no boost. Researched loads online, couldn't find anything about this fault. All of the specialists I talked to, everybody I speak to, unfortunately, naturally they were winding back to say, well, it must be something with the turbo. There must be an issue on the turbo, there must be this. It was a reconditioned turbo I ended up fitting, but nothing wrong with it, perfectly fine. Every test was fine. I scanned live data, scoped everything, and I mean, even on this is a cheap little tablet, I'm still waiting to get a bigger one again. Everything on the live data was reading fine. I found quite a few discrepancies, and I was thinking, well, maybe it's cheaper diagnostics, maybe that's what's doing it, saying that like my EGR valve wasn't working, my throttle body wasn't working when they were. And with the fault, basically, eventually on sort of like the fourth day, I just playing about, came across, I was looking at my fuel temperatures and stuff, and I came across the fuel temperature saying that I was 103 degrees Celsius. You ain't gonna get 103 degrees Celsius on the fuel temperature at all. Now, just gonna show you the engine. Ignore for now the squeak. I know I've got a knackered alternator belt, and what it turned out to be, let me just turn the engine off. So, just for play, basically, back of the fuel pump. Hard to focus. Let's see if I can get a good picture of it. It's hard to focus, basically, but down there, the back plug, down here, see a green wire, if it focuses, that is the fuel temperature sensor. Now, I never thought it was going to properly work, I'll be honest. So, what I did was I just unplugged it. Let me just do that now. Let's get this unplugged again. It's easier, just get a little click down there. And now, with that unplugged, if I start the van again, now naturally, obviously, live data is now showing minus 14. That's obviously incorrect, but it's an unplugged sensor, so don't give a crap. But most importantly, now, as you see, now like I say, this fault was bloody strange, because everybody hinged it on it must be the turbo, because the turbo had failed, it was completely hanging. So just a bit of an FYI kind of video, because that was tough to find. No fault codes, nothing to indicate this properly. It just, I went down the road and you were getting no acceleration, or as soon as it got to just above 2,000 revs, it was like you hit a bloody brick wall. So if you ever get that fault, try that. Have a look at the fuel temperature. on the live data, and that could indicate what's wrong. Like I say, maybe there will be videos out there somewhere, I'm pretty sure of that, but I could not find a single video linked to what happened there. Mainly because I was probably looking at, you know, no boost after turbo replaced, and I was at that point I was looking for advice from anywhere, because it stumped me as to why the turbo had failed, but then there was another fault. And when you think of it, there was 3 faults in one. The turbo shit itself, then the alternator decided to fail, and at the same time the turbo must have failed, the temperature sensor stopped working. So it sort of leads you down a rabbit hole very quickly. So if you ever get that fault, look at the temperature sensor.